Good morning, everybody. It is bright and early and a beautiful November morning as we are sailing into the natural harbor of Mahon, Menorca. Join us today, see what we find in the town with Traveling with the Doobies. On this glorious morning, we are entering the natural port on Menorca in the Balearic Islands, the Port of Mao, under the small city of Mahon. This is one of the most picturesque sail-ins in the Mediterranean, maybe second only to Kotor, Montenegro for early risers. From our entry past the lighthouses and fortifications to the end of the bay under the cliffs of Mahon is over 5 kilometers. On the south side of the harbor, to my right as we looked aft to the rising sun, we have the Castle of San Felipe. Across the harbor mouth is the Fortress of Isabella. San Felipe Castle was built in the 16th century and houses galleries and a military museum. Now to our left we pass the La Mola Fort, built at the direction of Queen Isabella II in the 19th century. The harbor is filled with fortifications and islands, and we slip past Lazare Island and Quarantine Island, named for obvious reasons, and King's Island, Isla de Rey, back on our port side, which at one time housed an English military hospital. As we sail deeper into the port and the water smooths to a glassy ripple, we even have the opportunity to find that perfect future home. I'll take that one there. Just a little dock.
You want that one?
Yeah, just, yeah.
Pictures.
Oh, now we're coming into Mahon and the Port of Mao in Catalonia. Well, this is also an opportunity to plan out that first morning activity and spot our route for a morning harbor run with MedFit Culture. Now, the Spanish military continues to utilize the port, and as the sun rises, we are greeted by the Spanish national anthem as we pivot towards the docks. So we think Fernando Alonso just won the race. It's a quiet Friday morning. Let's head out for a harbor run along the historic waterfront of Mao. The Port of Mao has over 2,000 years of history as a coveted naval port. There are remnants of, well, let's call them now foundations, dating back to the time the port was utilized by the Phoenicians, Greeks, Carthaginians, Romans, and even the Vandals left their marks in the docks and fortifications around the narrow and safe harbor. The Vandal occupation was brief, as Menorca was part of the Byzantine Empire for about 400 years, where it sat quietly through the Dark Ages until the mid-9th century a Viking incursion destroyed the Byzantine churches on the island. 40 years later, the island of Menorca became part of the Emirate of Cordoba, aka the Moors, and remained Moorish until being usurped into the Kingdom of Aragon just over 300 years later. Like in Alghero, the remnants of that time period result in the preferred language of Catalan being spoken in Mahon and Menorca. So living along a natural harbor has positives and some significant drawbacks. In the 16th century, attacks from Ottomans, including the 1535 sacking of Mahon by Hayred Barbarossa, followed by another attack in 1558, devastated the port and forced many of the residents into slavery. Yeah. Okay. We're about halfway to the 5K. Good turnaround spot. In 1708, as a result of the Spanish War of Secession, the British took control of the island and moved the capital of Menorca from Cittadella to the port city of Mao. The Brits quickly developed the port we really see today, with dockworks, fortifications, and maybe most importantly, a gin distillery. That's on our list to see later today. Mao became the primary base for the mighty British Mediterranean fleet, much to the displeasure of the French neighbors, see episode 4. The French briefly took control of Menorca from 1756 to 1763 after launching a massive land-based attack from the west side of the island, and they had just enough time to start a few construction projects before the British took the island back and held it until ceding the island to Spain in 1802. Okay, almost 5 miles in the books. Let's go visit the town of Mahon. Yeah, bright and early in the morning, and still room service stuff from yesterday out on the balcony. So cool. Way to go, Seabourn. Old Town Mahon is just 160 steps up the staircase, or one button push to use the free glass lift and save Donna Doobie's knees a bit. A short walk down the alley from the elevator is the Tre Cavalli sculpture by Swiss sculptor Nag Arnoldi. And we're close to the entrance to the Mercat des Cloches. This market, set in the old cloisters of St. Carmen Church, is filled with some quality small shops selling fresh foods, local specialties like tinned fish and cheeses, and a few really nice craft and clothing vendors. And like elsewhere, they are also busy decorating for the holidays. Leaving the market, we wander one of the main streets to the intoxicating smells of fresh baked goods. Oh, so we're stopping? All right. Close to the top of the main stairway into town is the Iglesia de Santa Maria. The main cathedral we see today was built upon a mid-14th century site of a sanctuary that was destroyed during the attack on the city by Barbarossa, as we discussed earlier. What we now see is a beautiful 18th century church and a massive pipe organ installed in 1807. We wind around a little more and come back to the Mercat des Pêches. Kind of hoping the food stalls would be opening after that run, but no luck on this Friday morning. But there were a few of the fishmongers selling the bounty of the Mediterranean. Walking Mahon, at times you feel you are in Monaco. Turn the corner, Barcelona, and then you see a tiled home similar to one in Lisbon. It's a real Mediterranean mutt of architecture, but I think it works. To get a glimpse of the old city walls, you pass through the portal of St. Roch. From the Encore, we could see a beautiful church hanging onto the cliffs above the port. So after some jockeying, street to street and corner to corner, we came across the Church of St. Francis de Assisi in Mao. And there's a tourist twofer here, as the neighboring cloister now serves as the Museum of Menorca. The church was constructed in the 18th century, like much of the town we see today, and it was built on a much older Franciscan monastery. It's a beautiful example of the neo-Gothic style. For a very reasonable €4, you can visit the Museum of Menorca. And this small museum had an excellent collection of varied exhibits, including a ground floor dedicated to the music of Menorca. The upper floors are all about the people who have inhabited and left their mark on this island. It's estimated the first peoples to Menorca came from the Iberian Peninsula about 4300 BC and led to the formation of the Italiatic culture, which developed an ever more sophisticated set of stone buildings, stone-lined burial caves, metal tools and jewelry, and even brewed beer. So, island life and beer have been together for millennia. The museum then takes us through an archaeological look at the waves of mariner nations that came to this place all the way to the present day. As we leave the museum, we find a shortcut back to the port and to our last stop of the morning, the Jorager Gin Factory. We take some time to admire the local street art and head down towards the distillery. And as we approach the gates, we can smell the distillation process. So we're excited to try some of that unique gin created to keep those British and Dutch sailors a little less homesick. And as we get here, closed for the season. But come see us at our shop in town, now you tell me. So a little discouraged, but it seems like a good time to grab lunch at the patio. Instead of gin, a rosé from Provence will have to do, and some of the local cheese and salami before we have fish and burgers and enjoy the sun starting to burn through the fog. Doobie mission: obtain gin. After lunch, we have just enough time to catch the elevator back into town, but we have to be quick. Menorca adheres to a strict afternoon siesta, so a quick bit of Christmas shopping for Donna Doobie, and what will have to suffice for a sample of gin today at the Jorager shop. Yeah, Mahon does do a siesta, so pretty much it's 2 o'clock and town's closed for a while. We take the slow walk down to the port. No need to rush now. The town is now effectively closed for us with a 5:30 sail away. Sounds like it might be a time for jacuzzis. Tonight's sail away is Caviar with Ross, our cruise director. So we enjoy some fish eggs and champagne as Ross sings a favorite from Joseph.
Hold my hand and I'll take you there someday.
Dinner is in the restaurant tonight, and we have steak and a really excellent piece of tuna before a dessert of gelato and a peanut butter and dark chocolate bar. In the Grand Salon tonight, the Seabourn 6 performs Silver Screen. It's from the Hollywood musicals. Time warp, anyone? And now it's just a jump to the next stop, Ibiza. See you there tomorrow. Good night.